now it's time to talk about the fabulous Freebirds. It is part 8. So if you have not watched parts 1 through 7, it's available on YouTube. Just put the fabulous Freebirds. Go to YouTube/Pro Wrestling Inside and Out, and you will be able to watch 1 through 7. And we talk about from the time they become the Freebirds in Memphis. Well, they actually was the Freebirds while wrestling for Nick Gulas, wasn't they? Didn't they call themselves the Freebirds?
I want to say so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Now, I know they were like Pretty Boy Hayes. And I don't know what Terry Gordy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't recall hearing Freebirds till later.
I know they did in Memphis. They came out with the music.
Yes, they did.
And
then if you haven't seen it, you've got to see that. I mean, Gordy and Hayes are on fire. They were there for just a very short time. At that match they have with Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler is just great. 2 out of 3 fall match. Just great.
And we talk about that, and we talk about why Michael Hayes decides to leave, and we talk about it on the very first, maybe the second one, but go watch those videos on the Freebirds. I think you'll enjoy them. Now we're at part 8, and Jack, we're going to continue. The Freebirds are still Buddy Roberts, nowhere to be seen. Still, I don't know where he went during this time. I cannot find anything on where he was at, but we'll continue looking at Georgia Championship Wrestling and Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. Jack?
September the 1st, 1981, Macon Coliseum in Macon, Georgia. Tommy Rich and Michael Hayes defeated Jimmy Snuka and Terry Gordy. On the 2nd, Municipal Auditorium in Columbus, Georgia, Michael Hayes and Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka. And then September the 5th, 1981, WTBS Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka defeated Ken Hall and Abe Jacobs.
You know, this was a very interesting on the 5th, on September 5th. Michael Hayes goes over a match where Andre the Giant is his tag team partner against Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka. Gordy throws powder in Andre's eyes, and they double up on Michael, and Kevin Von Erich comes down to help. Rodney, you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Now, on television, what was so good? They had been working this thing where Jimmy Snuka come off the top rope and did the splash, and he beat people. And on television, Jimmy Snuka with Terry Gordy at ringside goes against Kevin Von Erich. Snuka comes up, hits the splash on Kevin Von Erich. Kevin kicks out. And the people into the studio, it got over with them. You knew it got over with television, too, because they had built this so long on television where Jimmy Snuka had beat them. And he goes for the claw because Snuka did the claw as well. And he blocked it, and he got his own claw. And then Gordy hits the ring, and then Michael Hayes comes out to help. This was great booking by George Scott, don't y'all think?
Yes. Yeah, George Scott knew exactly what he was doing. And thinking that they hadn't established just the claw hold for Kevin Von Erich, they should have done that. But this was tremendous stuff. And Snuka, when he came off that top rope and he hit the splash, people thought it was over. And the big kick out, it shocked the studio. The people goes nuts. And yeah, just tremendous stuff.
On September the 12th, the very next week, Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka defeated Bobby Garrett and Bob Russell. Gordy and Snuka. Snuka wins the match with the top rope splash. Hayes come out and tells Gordy he will put a diaper on him, and he starts calling him Baby Huey, which I think he had started weeks before then. They do a little fight, but I'm going to tell you during this time, Terry Gordy did better interviews at this point in time than Michael Hayes.
Yeah, Terry was on. He was on fire. This was some of his best stuff, Terry's best stuff. And I think it really, at this point, showed that he could do it, where he was kind of the background of Michael Hayes for a long time. But this showed him front and center. It was perfect.
Jack, have you seen these interviews of Terry Gordy during this time period?
I did. Yeah, I sure have.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think Terry ever really got recognized for how good he was by himself. I know he was with Snuka then, but he rose to the occasion. Because let's be honest, Jimmy Snuka was great at a lot of things he did. Interviews were not one of them.
Yeah, that's right. You're right about that.
By the way, George Scott, the booker, during this time. All right, Rodney, 2 matches, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some
All right,
television.
we go to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia on September the 12th, 1981. It's Michael Hayes and Kevin Von Erich defeating Jimmy Snuka and Terry Gordy by countout. That was for the National Tag Team Championship. Memorial Auditorium, Chattanooga, Tennessee on September 13th of 1981. It's George Wells versus Terry Gordy.
On September the 27th, they're going to have a cage match at the Omni, which is, I believe, is a Saturday night. Gordy does another great interview. Like I said, really better than Michael. I believe he did better interviews than Michael. Then Michael and Kevin goes over a match from the Omni where Gordy and Snuka run away. So they're building up. They're building up for a cage match on September the 27th in the Omni in Atlanta. All right, Jack?
September 20th, 1981, Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Michael Hayes versus Terry Gordy. And then at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta on the 21st, Michael Hayes and Mr. Wrestling #2 defeated Tor Kamada and Terry Gordy.
Let's talk about Tor Kamada just for a moment. Was Tor Kamada not just Abdullah the Butcher in that row? Did y'all notice this? Have y'all seen this?
Yes.
I
He
didn't get to
was.
see
And
this.
it was, everybody was, he was electrifying when coming to the ring. Just people from all over kept getting up,
So
and
he's
standing
consistent
up,
with any
and
other thing
throwing
I've ever
things
seen him do.
and going to the concession stand and to the restroom during the match. It was awesome.
Okay. For some reason, Kevin Von Erich leaves. Rodney, do you remember why Kevin Von Erich leaves?
It was I have no idea. That was just a big question mark back then. He was there 1 minute, gone the next.
And then they bring in Otis Sistrunk.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all ever saw him on these videos?
Yep.
He's about as bad as I remember him being. Punches was horrible. Horrible, just horrible. Now he got over when in Columbus, Georgia, when he came out and he helped Michael Hayes when Jimmy Snuka and Terry Gordy were beating up on him. But man, Otis was bad. On September 26th as well, 1981, Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka defeat Deke Rivers and George Wells. And by the way, that was a Sunday, September 27th, 1981. The Omni in Atlanta, Michael Hayes and Otis Sistrunk. You know that match had to be horrible. Defeated Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka, and Otis Sistrunk and Michael Hayes become the tag team champions inside a steel cage. What was the thoughts in that? Was that George Scott booking Rodney at the time?
Yes, it was. It was still George.
Man, I think that might be the reason he got fired.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, am I just saying that? Jack, I'll tell you, have you seen Otis Sistrunk? Have you seen him?
Yes, I have.
He didn't need to be in the ring, did he?
He didn't need to be in the state.
Oh, man, that was so bad. All right, Rodney, we'll talk about the other 2 matches.
October the 2nd, 1981, we go to the high school in Porterdale, Georgia. It's Terry Gordy and Tor Kamada defeating Michael Hayes and Steve-O. Then we're at the VFW Fairgrounds in Carrollton, Georgia on October the 3rd, 1981. It's Michael Hayes and Brian Blair versus Terry Gordy and Tor Kamada, and that match ended in a double disqualification.
And then on October 3rd, 1981, WTBS Studios, Terry Gordy defeated Ken Timms during this thing. Otis Sistrunk was in a tag team match, 6-man tag team match, and he should not have been in that. That was just horrible. That was embarrassing. That should never made it on television. Why did they do that? All right, Jack.
October the 5th, 1981, Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia, Terry Gordy defeated Michael Hayes. And then on the 6th, at the Macon Coliseum in Macon, Tommy Rich and Michael Hayes defeated Terry Gordy and Tor Kamada by disqualification.
All right, on October 10th, 1981, the WTBS Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, Terry Gordy defeated Jim Underhill. Terry Gordy does an interview about Jim Duggan coming back, And he says that he's been in Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, or any other Rica for that matter. It's a great interview. Great interview. It is on. Actually, what you do is you put Georgia Wrestling October 1981, and it will come up. But he talks about, then Michael Hayes comes out with a baby bonnet. So they're getting ready for the baby bottle matches. And Otis comes out and holds them. They put the baby bottle on Terry Gordy and put the baby bonnet on. And do you remember this, Rodney?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Gordy, where they stuck it in his mouth, had this big old red spot on the side of his mouth where they shoved the baby bottle in his mouth.
Again, he told a great story. Terry Gordy told a great story. He did a great interviews. For those people that didn't think Terry Gordy, just go back and watch this time period. Terry Gordy does some great interviews. He tells the story like no other. You're not going to embarrass me, and when we meet each other, I'm going to embarrass you. And both of them did such a great job. But even Michael Hayes did a great job on telling the story. And by the way, Hayes and Otis Sistrunk had a match on that same show, and again they shouldn't have, because then you got Michael Hayes and Otis Sistrunk in there. October the 11th, the Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Michael Hayes defeated Terry Gordy in a lumberjack match. Rodney, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure we were there. Was Terry Gordy? Did people like him more than Michael Hayes in Chattanooga?
No.
Okay, I just wanted
they stayed in their lane. So no, it didn't.
October 17th, 1981, and I do not remember this. Terry Gordy and Jim Duggan teamed up to go against Brian Blair and Joshua Stroud. Rodney, do you remember this?
I have no, I don't recall the Terry Gordy Jim Duggan team, actually.
I do not remember.
I don't remember this at all, actually.
They actually team with each other. Jim Duggan wins the match with the backbreaker. Gordy and Duggan got a great reaction from the TV audience. When they came out, they had I believe Jim Duggan and Terry Gordy could have drew a lot of money in Georgia. Because they, not saying that Jim Duggan was tremendous when you look at Otis Sistrunk at that time. I mean, it looked like, he was he was like Bret Hart at the time. October 17th, 1981, the TBS studios. Terry Gordy and Jim Duggan, once again, same, they did 2 hours, one against defeated Ken Timms and Bob Rue. Duggan once again wins the match with the backbreaker in the gut, the gut wrench. Then the Omni in Atlanta, baby bottle match. They plugged this thing, they get it ready. They really did a good job at getting this ready at the Omni on October 18th, 1981. Michael Hayes defeated Terry Gordy. So I guess Terry Gordy had to put the baby bonnet. By the way, those drew pretty decent money. Dick Slater did those with Wrestling 2 in the early 70s. That drew some money. October 24th, 1981, here's Terry Gordy and Jim Duggan again against Jim Gallagher and Mike Jackson. Terry Gordy wins the match with a pile driver. October 25th, Veterans Memorial Fieldhouse in Huntington, West Virginia. Terry Gordy defeated Brian Blair, and I don't remember Brian Blair being in Georgia.
He was there.
I just never remember it. And on October...
Because it was, once again, it was like Torquemada. It was absolutely electrifying.
Then on October 31st, 1981, on an edition of Georgia Championship Wrestling, Roddy Piper, was not Rowdy yet, Roddy Piper arrives in Georgia. And he was tremendous from the first time he came to Georgia. I mean, he was so good. Austin Idol also returns, and he has a confrontation with Michael Hayes during that show. All right, Rodney?
All right, we go to the Omni in Atlanta on November the 1st, 1981. Terry Gordy defeats Brian Blair. Bell Auditorium, Augusta, Georgia on November the 2nd, 1981. It's Michael Hayes and Mr. Wrestling 2. Michael Hayes, Mr. Wrestling 2, and Dusty Rhodes defeating the Great Mephisto, Ray Stevens, and Terry Gordy by disqualification. Then we go to the Gadsden Coliseum, Gadsden, Alabama on November the 7th, 1981. It's Terry Gordy and Jim Duggan against Mr. Wrestling 2 and Michael Hayes.
On November 7th, 1981, at the WTBS studios, Georgia Championship Wrestling, they start pushing the annual tag team tournament for Thanksgiving. Terry Gordy defeated Jim Gallagher And evidently Terry Gordy and Austin Idol were going to start teaming with each other. And they started kind of showing that as Austin Idol returns once again, confronts Michael Hayes again on this television show. Michael Hayes defeated Ed Timms during that. Hayes wins with a bulldog. And I don't understand this, and maybe y'all can explain this to me. Why did Austin Idol come out in a mask? And then, because he had already talked to him twice, why did he come out with a mask and attack Michael Hayes?
He had done this 2 weeks in a row. This is not just the first time this had happened.
Yes.
This had been done a few weeks before Austin Idol, had the mask taken off. So it was a good job of building it to see exactly who it was that was doing the attack. But you could tell that was Michael Hayes right off the bat.
You mean Austin Idol? You mean?
Yeah, it was Austin Idol. I'm sorry, because he was coming off the second rope with the elbow drop, and only Idol. I mean, you could tell that 10 miles off.
Now I will tell you, Jack had Austin Idol on his top 100. Austin Idol is tremendous, right here. His interviews are great. Everything he's doing is great during this period. Austin Idol did a tremendous interview. Terry Gordy did as well. Michael Hayes does an interview, and they're going to have a match in the Omni, and it's going to be Terry Gordy and Austin Idol against a mystery partner. And the mystery partner ends up being Big Red.
Because Otis Sistrunk was obviously not available.
That's correct.
Was that a letdown? Was it a letdown that Big Red was going to be his mystery partner? I mean, they made a big deal out of it the whole show. Or did they get over with the people?
I don't know how well Big Red was known then. I remember him, being there before I left in '80. That he wasn't a top tier guy. It wasn't pushed that way.
Well, on November 14th, 1981, Idol and Gordy talk about Michael Hayes having that mystery partner, and it ends up being Big Red. Terry Gordy and Austin Idol defeated Bruno Sammartino Jr. and Keith Larson. Wins the match with a knee off the second rope. Austin Idol, I believe, is the one that did it. Terry Gordy might have done it on Keith Larson. Hayes and Big Red went against Mike Sharp and Marvin Turner. And that match was like scrambled eggs in that thing. It was horrible. All right, Jack, go ahead.
And then we're in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling on November the 15th, 1981, Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina. Michael Hayes defeated Terry Gordy. And on the 21st, Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Tommy Rich defeated Terry Gordy in a lumberjack bounty match. And then on the 22nd, Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio, Bob Armstrong defeated Terry Gordy by disqualification. November the 22nd, Veterans Memorial Fieldhouse in Huntington, West Virginia. Michael Hayes and Bob Armstrong defeated Ric Flair and Terry Gordy. And that was almost an hour match. At the Bell Auditorium in Augusta on the 23rd, Buzz Sawyer defeated Terry Gordy. And then on the 26th, the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, Terry Gordy and Austin Idol versus Michael Hayes and Big Red ended without a winner as a double disqualification. November the 28th, at Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Terry Gordy defeated Grand Apollo. And then on the 30th of November, Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia, Michael Hayes and Big Red defeated Austin Idol and Terry Gordy by disqualification.
By this time, Ole Anderson is back as the booker. Bob Armstrong, I believe, the assistant booker. But even though Bob Armstrong does the majority of the booking at this time.
Yes.
Ole is booking Charlotte as well. George Scott, I believe George Scott went to WWF, right?
That sounds
where
about
he
right.
is at?
I think that's about right. And the deal with Austin Idol and Michael Hayes is absolutely perfect because of the what it was with Hayes and Austin Idol the year before. So this made a lot of sense with Austin Idol being against Michael Hayes.
And it was great stuff. It was great stuff. By the way, if you like to support the channel, there's two ways to do it. If you like to support us monthly, you can go to our top of our Facebook page, and it says support this channel. for $2.99 a month. Or if you like to just a one-time yearly fee of $2.99, you can do that as well. And we'll be putting that at the bottom of this video. Now it's time